All right, shalom, shalom. This brother Yatazadak here of Israel. I'd like to start off by giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone. Today we're going to Zechariah chapter 4, going into the Hebrew. So Lord willing, you're edified. Giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone. So let's get right into it. This is Zechariah chapter 4 and verse 1. And it reads, And he returned the angel that spoke unto me, and he awakened me like a man which is awakened from his sleep. So it reads, Wayashab ha mala'aka ha dabar baya waya ayar naya ka ayash shar ya awar ma shanathwa. Zechariah chapter 4 and verse 2. And he said unto me, What do you see? And I said, I see, and behold, a menorah of gold, of complete gold, and a bowl above its head, and 7 lamps upon it, 7 tubes for the lamps which are above its head. Waya amar alia ma tha ra'a wa amar ra'ayathaya wa hana manarath zahab kala wa gala al ra'asha wa shabaya narathia alia shabaya wa shabaya matazakwath la narath ashar al ra'asha, which is let's look at that word kala. It means of all of complete gold. So it was all of gold, right? That word gala, it means to remove, right? Like an opening. It's talking about an opening above the seven candlesticks, right? So we're gonna get a picture of it, right? These are the 7 candlesticks. That is the bowl, but it has an opening, right? Because it has tubes attached to it, which are connected to the 7 lamps, right? So it's a bowl shape, but it has openings for those tubes, right? Now let's look at the use for galah. Has various uses. Again, it means to remove, right? A bowl. Let's look at the other uses. Salakia. Let's look at that word. This is Strong's H1543. It's galah. Joshua 15:19. Right here, it's called. It's translated as springs of water. Right. There are various ways to say a spring. This is figuratively another way to say spring, right? Let's look at the word spring. So you have Ashada, which means a lowland, right? You have Gal, which means a pile or heap. It's more so a pile. For example, Gilead means a pile of witness, right? It's another way to say spring. You have Gala, which is right, used in Book of Joshua. Let's look at the other ones. Dasha'a, which that is I believe that's herbs, a sprout, right? Which is sprout or grass, right? Don't confuse it with Aishab, which is a herb, right? Let's see. Because when you see springs, there's always grasslands near it, right? It's a fertile land, right? You have Mabawai. Um, let's look at the Nabai, right? Which I believe it means to bubble up. To bubble forth, to gush out, right? Which is where you get the word Naba'a, which means to prophesy, right? Which is right, in a sense to bubble forth, or right, to be divinely inspired and to speak beforehand. But Naba'a, or it means to bring in, right? To bring to pass, right? Ba'a is in to enter, right, or to come, right? Or Nabaya'a, which means that's a prophet, right? It's a combination of Nabai and Naba'a, Nabaya'a, right? So these words are they're interconnected, right? Nabai, right? To utter, right? Abundantly, right? To belch. To publish, to tell, compared with Naba'a, right? So there's various uses, right? Let's look at the other. But these are figurative ways of saying spring, right? I'm not going to look at all of these because it's going to take away from the lesson. But you have Mataza'a, which means to find, right? Or to be found, right? It's another way to say spring. Mayum, right? Um, water springs. Ma'ayan, this is the actual word to say spring, right? Ma meaning of, ayan meaning I, or spring, right? Makwar, which is figuratively a spring because kwar means to dig. Ma meaning of, kwar to dig, right? Or a spring that is dug, right? Let's see what else we got. All right, so it isn't many of them. So, Nabika. Let's look at this one. spring to burst forth. Let's look at the because that word let's see if I got that in my notes. Salakia. Nabaka. Salakia. See what we got right here. So it means to burst forth, a fountain, a spring, right? Nabaka, right? Let's see if we can get it in Google Translate. Slakia. Nabaka. Right, so that word confused or confusion, right? It's another way to say confounded, right? Actually, let's look that up. Hebrew concordance. You have the word no, that's not what I'm looking for. Nabo Nabwaka, right? Which is same as this word here that I touched on for spring. Let me look back here. Just search it. So it's good to have these tools in hand, right? Bak, Bawak, Bawaka. Which you have, alright, I can't find it. Let's see if we can find it in the blue letter. Confuse. I believe that's in Exodus. Confound. Salakia. Bewilder. If I don't find it, I'll just have to move on. yeah. Actually, I might have it here. My notes. Nope. No, it's in the book of Exodus. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Lost. To stray. See what we can get for that. Pharaoh, they have strayed. Exodus, Bible Hub. Let's see if we can find that real quick, Salakia. Here it is. Exodus 14:3. Let's just look that up in a blue letter. Alright. So where there's a will, there's a way. Let's see. Exodus 14:3. Turn down his brightness, because Exodus 14:3. Bawak, right? Which is essentially the same as the word thawak. Tawaka, thawak. Which basically means in the midst. Right here it's translated as entangled, right? Which is another way to say spring. Because when there's a spring, there's vegetation, branches, right? Roots um, um, taking taking form, right? Pawaka, signification of turning, rolling, disturbing, perplexing, right? Just means perplexed or right, entangled, astonished, however you want to say it. Entangled reminds me of another word. Let's look up entangle. Entangle. Bawak, right? Right. Tangle. Right. Let me see if I can get that other word. Tangle. Similar to that one, if not close to that word. It's here somewhere. Which is that word is shabka, right? Which means an entanglement or a network or lattice work, right? Which is like a screen door, right? A similar word is shabbatazah, meaning a checkered work, as in, right, you sew a blanket in a checkered form, right? Not a lattice work. A lattice work is hollowed, right? So shabka, right, similar to shabka, just means an entanglement or entangled, right? That's what Pharaoh said. They are entangled. So like, let's get that real quick. They are entangled in their land. The wilderness have shut them in, right? So let's go to, that was a little bit too much time, but hopefully it was edifying. Spring. So again, this chapter doesn't really have a lot of, it's not really a long chapter, right? Pretty simple, right? So I have time to go over these, so I'm going to do it. Ayla, meaning to ascend. Parach, meaning to bloom, right? Taza'ah, taza'ayum, right? This is talking about offspring. Tazabach, which literally means to spring forth, to spring up. Shachias. This one is interesting because Shachias is where you get the word for let's get that. Shachias. Slovakia. So you have shakiash or shakias means to join together, right? Or to attach, right? Which the word is let's see, that's not what I was looking for. Yeah, so you can compare it to that, right? Shakias. Let's see what we can get for that. Sakiash or shakias. Sapiach, right? Which that word sapach means to attach. Let's just attach. To join. For example, when you have grain growing, you have weeds growing also because they grow with it, right? Or tares, which let's look it up in the Strong's Hebrew. Shapach. Or it might be sapach. So sapiach, to outpour, growth from spilled kernels. We have sapach, to join, to attach to. That's what I was looking for. Right. Because where there's water, there's vegetation, right? go back. Spring. Slovakia. Spring. Tazamach. You have Shachar, which is a day spring. Right, or dawning of a day, right? It also means black, right? The word Sahara, that's crescent or round, right? Or to seek B times, right? It's figuratively a way, right, to seek early, right? Early bird gets the worm, right? Like they say. So let's look at crescent. Oops. Crescent. Moon. Sahar. Roundness. That's how you say it in the Syriac. Sahara. The word for round would be Sahar. Slovakia. Moon crescent. It's another way to say moon or crescent. So this would mean crescents. But anyways, Slovakia. Satan's trying to hinder the lesson. Right, so where are we at? So you have the menorah of complete gold. Above it was a bowl. 7 lamps, right? Because the word menorah, ma mean of, nawar or nayar means a lamp. So menorah just means a lamp. Right, candlestick, right, lampstand, right. So it says 7 lamps, 7 tubes of those lamps, which were above it, which is above the menorah, Salakia, which is right here. Salakia. So you have the 7 tubes that are connected to the 7 lamps. You have the bowl, right? Let's move on. So the word galah, right, just means a bowl in this case. Zechariah 4:3, and 2 olive trees beside it, one on the right of the bowl, and one on the left. Washunyum, Sayathium, Alya, Achad, Ma Yamayan, Hagala wa Achad, Al Shamalah, right? Which is, you have 2 olive trees, one on the right of the bowl and one on the left, right? These are the olive trees, right? The olive branches are mentioned towards the end of the chapter, right? These 2 olive trees are figuratively for northern and southern kingdom, the 2 kingdoms that were separated, right? Because the gospel would not be complete, the prophecies, without both tribes being involved, or both northern and southern kingdom, right? Which you have Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Simeon. That's southern kingdom. You have the 8 other tribes. You have Issachar. You have Issachar, Reuben, Dan, Gad, Naphtali, Zebulun, Ephraim, Manasseh. Right. That's 8. That's the northern kingdom. Right. They went to the Americas, right, and settled, right, which are the indigenous North and Southern American, right? You have the Native Americans, right? They're called North American Indians, right? And then you have so-called Hispanics that are called, sometimes they may ask where you're from. I'm from South America, right? These are just different labels, right? Native American, right? But you have natives, you have indigenous people in South America, right? Why aren't they called Native South American, right? And we basically look similar, right? Except some of us are, right, we're some of the Northern Kingdom looks like they look white because they've mixed in, they took wives of the other nations, right? So those are the two olive trees, right? The 2 witnesses, right? Which signifies the law and the prophets, right? Which completes, right, the volume of the book, right? Zechariah 4:4, and I answered and I said unto the angel that spoke with me, to say, what are these, my Lord? Wa'ayan wa amar al ha mala'aka ha dabar baya la amar ma al ha Adonai. Zechariah 4 and 5. And he answered the angel, he that spoke with me, and he said unto me, dost thou not know what are they these? And I said, no, my Lord. Waya'an ha mala'aka ha dabar baya waya amar alya hala'a yadayath ma hama alha wa amar la'a Adonai. Zechariah 4 and 6. And he answered and he said unto me to say, this is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel to say, not by my strength, or Salakia, not by my might, and not by my strength, because lo, in my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts. By my spirit, right? Waya'an, waya amar, alya la amar, zad bar Yahweh, al Zerubbabel, la amar la'a bachayal, wa la'a bakach, kaya am ba rakaya, amar Yahweh tazabawath. Right, so the Lord is saying unto Zerubbabel, which was a governor, right, during the time of the return from the Babylonian exile, right, which Zerubbabel means scattered in Babylon or sown in Babylon, right, which basically means scattered in Babylon, right, which is what the remnant are also, right, scattered in Babylon, right. So the Lord, right, this is twofold, right? He's talking about the remnant, but this was talking about an actual governor, right? That one of the was one of the seed of David, was from the seed of David, right? Contemporaries from the time of Zechariah, right? But in these latter days, the Lord is gathering the remnant, not by strength, not by might, right? By the foolishness of preaching, right? By his spirit, right? Saith the Lord of hosts. Zechariah 4 and 7. Who art thou, mountain great, before Zerubbabel, to become a plain? And he will produce unto the stone, the headstone, with shouts, to shout grace, grace unto it, right? Maya atha har hagadol lapanya Zarbabal, Zarbabal lama yashar, right? Ma yashar means a plain. Waha tazaya'a atha ha'aban ha'ra'asha ta sha'awath khan han laha. Because that word sha'awath, right? The root word is nasha'a, meaning to lift up, or to bear, or a burden. Sometimes it means tumults, right? It's figuratively a way to say desolation, right? Here it's shouts, figuratively, to shout, because that's what the remnant are doing, right? That great mountain is America Babylon the Great, which is going to be turned into a plain, a desert, right? So the Lord wasn't talking about something that happened back then with Zerubbabel, right? The head stone is Yahweh Shai, right? We're shouting grace, grace. Why? Because Isaiah 58:1 says we will cry out loud, spare not, right? Call back the remnant, right? We're showing the grace that is being revealed in these latter days to the remnant of the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai Wa Rakakwadash, right? Zechariah 4:8. And it came to pass, the word of the Lord came unto me to say, which really it says, and it came to pass, the Lord spoke unto me to say, Why Yahaya Dabar Yahweh Aliyah La Amar, the hands of Zerubbabel had founded to the house this, and his hands will spread it out or complete it, right? And thou shalt know because the Lord of hosts has sent me unto you, right? Because this actually happened back then in the rebuilding of the temple, right? But right, we are the remnant are figure are a figure of Zerubbabel, right? We're returning uh, uh, back to the former ways, right? We were scattered in Babylon, right? We're not laying the foundation. The foundation is there, but we're leveling the foundation, right? Spiritual finishers, right? Which I brought up at camp before, right? And the right, and this is on point because Zerubbabel is of the seed of David, right? The tribe of Judah, just like Yahweh Shai, right? The Lord said he would always leave a light, a lamp remaining from the house of David, right? So it says, Yadia Zarbabal Yasadwa Habayath Hazah Yadiawa Thab Batazaidna Wide Yadayath Kaya Yahawah Tazabawath Shalachnaya Al Yakam. Let's look at that word Batazai because it means gain, right? Righteous or unjust gain. Most of the time it means unrighteous gain, right? Or profit in general, right? A profit, right? Not a prophet that prophesies, but profits. Like you profit from a particular venture, right? Because that word batazai, and compared to tazaya, which means to spread out, right? So we don't gotta go into all that, right? So sometimes you'll read batazai, which means profit, right? Or unjust gain, righteous gain, right? Depending on context. Other times you'll read yatazai or tazaya, which means to spread out, right? It could mean like a couch, right? Because that's where you spread yourself out, right? You stretch out, right, after a long day, and you kind of, right, take a power nap, right? But they actually had, right, and the Orientals, what they have is they have their they sit on the floor like like the Ammonites, like the so-called Japanese, Chinese, right? They sit on the floor, or they have uh, the Bedouins, which were no, which was a nomadic tribe, which they're still in the Middle East today, right? So-called Arabs, right? Um, they're in their tents, they would spread out like some rugs or blankets, right? And that would be a couch, but it would be on the floor, right? Um, the word yasad is a foundation, right? Zechariah 4 and 10, because who have despised the day of small things, and will rejoice and will see unto the stone of separation in the hand of Zerubbabel. Seven these seven are the eyes of the Lord, they uh which go about all the earth. Kaya Maya Baz Layawam Watanath Wa Shamahwa Wara Awa Atha Aban Habadial Bayad Zarbabal Shabaya Alha Ayanya Yahweh Hama Ma Mashat Yum Bakal Ha-Rataza, right? Because that word Badial means to separate, right? Because what the scriptures say that, right? Um, right. Um, so those that despise the day of small things, right, is the 2/3, right? Because they think this is right. They have no hope. The scriptures say that, right? Our people, right, have said we have lost hope, right? It's talking about 2/3, right? Because they don't understand. They've been blinded, right? Like I recently said at camp, you see the left hand work of the Lord, right, which He puts in these uh, the nations, Esau, right, to do their work, right. Then there has to be another side to it, but it's just Jake is so desperate, so impatient. They want everything. They want to see it. They want to see it now, right? They need to see it before they even uh, search after righteousness. We're searching it because we have a lively hope, right? That has been revealed in these latter days, right? Um, which lively hope, right? That reminds me of the book of Peter, right? Lively stones, right? Right. So that's 2/3, right? And we see it through the Spirit, right? We rejoice through the Spirit, right? Though we be in manifold temptations, right? That's still in a separation, right? Which the scriptures say that Yahushua is that cornerstone, right? Which some will stumble on it. To be those that stumble on that stone will be will stumble at the word, right? A rock of offense, because it's offensive to 2/3 of our people, right? Because they want everything. They're so used to this Babylonian society that everything is instant gratitude, instant. You have to see it. Everything's right. They're caught in that. They're in that daze, right? That mirage, because that's all America Babylon the Great is. It's a mirage. Why? Because you're nothing but a number in this society. You're nothing but a. This is a corporation, right? This is how it was founded, right? Um, the stone of separation, right? Like it says in the book of Luke, Yahushua is for the rise and fall of many, right? Back then and now, right? And that stone has 7 eyes, which is the 7 spirits, right? Which is the Comforter, the Holy Spirit, right? The Alahayim, the angels, right? That are working in the unseen world, working through men, right? Um, So the seven spirits or the seven angels, you have the seven archangels, and then you have all the angels as a whole on the left and on the right, right? So sometimes you read, like I said, Alahayim means gods plural or judges plural or magistrates, right? Like in the book of Exodus, that's talking about the 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 rulers of the people, right? The heads, right? Then in Genesis chapter 1, right? That's talking about uh, the angels of creation, right? Which starts with right the righteous angels, right? Right, and then certain times you read, for example, here the seven eyes. That's talking about all the angels, the left hand and the right hand spirits, right? The wicked, right? Or not wicked, but just the angels as a whole. That's talking about here, because they're going to put forward the Lord's counsel, right? So when you talk about the comforter, you're talking about the righteous spirits, right? The righteous angels, right? So you got to know the difference, right? But here it's talking about, right, all the angels as a whole, right? So you have the stone with the seven eyes. Uh, that's the Lord's counsel being performed, right? From the foundation of the world, right? Wickedness and the righteousness is going to be made manifest. Wickedness is already here, right? And right, and the Lord is going to work a marvelous work. It's going to be uh right worth it, right? So right now we're just think of it as a startup company, right? You got to invest early, and then you get to see the fruit of your works, right? When that the ball gets rolling, right? Like they say. Let's look at that word shawat. Um, Zechariah 4:10. Salakia. See where we're at. 58. Okay. Zechariah 4:10. The water Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, right? For your loving kindness and grace, right, that you give us every day that we wake up. Especially in these latter days, right? Satan is getting desperate. Fucking devils are finished. And we expect these things because even when Yahushua came on the scene, right? Those wicked spirits said, "Art thou he? Uh, art thou come to judge us before our time?" Right? So you goddamn devils, your time is coming, right? You goddamn devil, right? So that word shawat means to whip, means a scourge, to lash, but it also means to row, right? Or an oar, right? To run about, to run up and down. In this case, to go about. For example, this is describing the action of a what do you call it? Like a hamster wheel, right? It just goes round about, round about, round about, and then you got the little hamster steps, right? That's what that is. Right. Going to and fro, right, or going round about all the earth. That's talking about the Lord's counsel being performed, right? Zechariah 4 and 11, right? So you can see, right, um, nations are bugged out, right? Just think about it as a baby who is losing his candy, losing your candy, and right, you know, you know you wrote a check that you can't cash, right? So it's pathetic, really, right? And right, you're gonna deserve every single thing that's coming to you, fuckers, right? Right, and we hope we can see it so we can laugh at your stupid ass. I mean, we'll see it either way, but you know. Zechariah 4 and 11. And I answered and I said unto him, what are these two olive trees? These upon the right of the menorah, upon the left. Wa wa'an, wa'ayan, wa'amar al yawa, ma shanya, ha zayathium, ha alha, al yamayan, ha menorah, wa'al shama'ala, wa'ayan. So this is Zechariah, he said, were these two olive trees upon the right of the menorah and upon the left. Zechariah 4 and 12. And I answered a second time, and I said unto him, what are the two branches? What are the two olive branches which are in the side of the two golden tubes that empty out um, from upon them, which are of gold, right? Wa ayan shanyath, wa amar al yawa, mashathia, shabalia, hazayathium, ashar bayad shanya, tazanatharath, hazahab, ha maryakim, ma'al yaham, hazahab. Right, because that word shanyath just means two or a second time. Right, shabal, I mean, it's another way to say branch. Right, bayad means in the side, right, of the two golden tubes, right? That's another way to say tube. Tazanathar, right? Because that word tazar means to make narrow, right? Or if you would, sometimes you read certain words, right? Instead of, like, for example, tazar, you read tazanar, right? But they're similar in meaning, right? It's just denoting something else. In this case, it means a tube, or tubes plural. Rayak means to empty out, right? Or something that is empty. It's talking about this here. Salakia. These are the two olive branches. You have the two golden tubes, Tazamathar, right? So you have, right, spiritually where those two trees were emptying out, right, by, for example, when you harvest olives, right, to get the olive oil, you have to crush it, right? Just like Yahushua is known as that great millstone, right? By bringing out this word, we're grinding meal, right? And we're squeezing the oil out of the word, which is, right? The oil is the eye salve, which keeps the lamps going, right? Which it's already there, right? We just have to, right, keep squeezing it, right? To light up the lamps, right? We have our own lamps, but we figuratively keeping the lamps, right? By the Spirit of the Lord, meaning keeping His word going, right? It's being emptied out. It's producing light for the candlestick, right? Which is not of us; it's of the Lord. But these are keeping the light going, right? Which is the light is what on the seven candlesticks. It's the Lord's counsel, right? Zechariah 4:12. Let's get that real quick. Shabal, or Shabalath, right? Which there was a contention over with the Ephraimites. I believe that shows just 8 or 10, where they some of them pronounce stream as Sibboleth, some of them pronounce it as Shibboleth, right? Which that word Shabal just means a division, right? In this case, a stream or streams, right? It's another way to say branch. Slovakia. Let's look at the various words for stream or a channel. Let's just type in stream. See what we can get. See what we can glean from this. You have Apiak, which is a brook. Ashad, which is a lowland, which is also another way to say stream. Ya'ar, which is of Egyptian origin, just means river, not stream. Yabal just means to flow, but it's another way to say stream. Nahar, river, stream. Right. Which is just means stream. The word for river is Nahal. For example, the river Euphrates, Nahal, right? Nazal, I believe that means to trickle. Let's get that real quick. Nazal. Nazal. Nazal, yeah. So I was right. It means to trickle. You have Nahal, right, which is a river. Salaki, let me change this because I'm gonna mess up the video. Palag, right, means a division. It's another way to say extreme. But palag means, right, a real canal or channel, right? Here it would be flowing stream, ear of grain, right? Let's look at the root. Shabal, meaning to flow, right? So it's like Yabal, but the Shah is, the Ya is replaced with the Shah, right? So you see, very comprehensive, right? That is what a living language is about, right? Um, Tazanathar, a pipe or pipes. Tazanawar, which is Tazanar, Tazanawar. Hollow culvert, pipe, conduit, right? Because of that word, right? The root is tazar, right? Tazanar, that's the root, you see? Zechariah, yeah, two more verses. Zechariah 4:13, and he said unto me to say, dost thou not know what are these? And I said, uh, I do not, my Lord. Waya Amar Alia La Amar Hala'a Yadayath Ma Alha Wa Amar La'a Adonai. Zechariah 4:14, and he said, these are the two sons of the these are the two anointed sons that stand beside the Lord of all the earth. It's not actually, well, yeah, figuratively, it's Moses and Elijah. Moses was the greatest, one of the greatest prophets, but he was also a lawgiver, right? Elijah was one of the greatest prophets, and right, symbolizes the prophets as a whole. Moses symbolizes the law, right, which is complete delight, right? Waya Amar Alha Shanya Banya Ha Yatazahar Ha Imadium Al Adawan Kal Ha Arataza, right? That word Tazahar means oil, right? Also means noonday, right? It's figuratively for oil. There's various ways to say oil. Dashan, right, which is basically oil fat, the oil of fat. We have shaman, means to be fat or oil in general. The oil of anointing would be hashaman mashach, right? So here in the Safaria, it says they are the two anointed dignitaries who attend the sovereign of all the earth, right? Which is two witnesses you read about in Revelation chapter 11, right? Let's look at that real quick. Zechariah 4 and 14. Through the Spirit, right? Lord willing, you ratified. 14. Strong's H3323. Ya Tazahar, anointed oil, fresh oil, shining pure oil. Oil, especially fresh and new. Tazahar or Tahar, right? Or similar, which is, it just means, Tahar means pure. So it signifies like fresh oil, right? Tazachach, right, would be like something that glistens, right? Which is, you can compare it to that. Tazahar, light splendor, right? To press out oil. Tazahar. Anyways, so with that, Lord willing, you ratified. And as always, giving all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Kwam Yasha Allah, Bible Ball, Shalom, Zechariah chapter 4, Shalom.